All right, welcome in Sports Untapped. Another episode. Stephen A. Norman, Mitchell, Mitchy Poppy, as apparently he's going by these days. Uh, Very interesting. Uh, we're going to discuss joint practices for the Patriots. Two in the books now in Minnesota. We'll get into some of the reporting from those two practices, how guys looked, what stood out to us here on this episode of the show. Again, to start, we are new, so we would appreciate for you to engage with the program, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, notifies you when new content is dropped. You can leave a comment. Always like feedback on not just the program, just in general, what you thought of what we said, what you're thinking about the Patriots. How do you feel right now? All right, Mitchell, two joint practices are in the books for the Patriots. And from everything that's being reported, it was a mixed bag in the two practices. There were moments on Wednesday where the offense looked really good and Drake May was spot on. The protection was okay, it held up. Big plays. Matt Collins with a long touchdown. Travion Henderson continuing to build on what he looked like in preseason game number one. The connection with Steph Diggs, and really just where he's at in this whole offseason. He's probably not going to play in these preseason games if I had to venture a guess, which is more than a guess. But he's looked good again. The one thing I hate about this time of year, Mitchell, is so much of our opinions are based off of reporting, not our own eyeballs. I mean, you see these clips of both positive and negative stuff, and you react to them, but ultimately you're not there. You're not able to watch like a game.
hmm
So a lot of the reporting is that day one was up and down with bright spots, but also protection issues, 6 sacks. Again, Will Campbell on the left side of the line with Jared Wilson struggled in practice number one. And then today here in practice number two, a lot of the same. They worked at midfield with long down and distance on Wednesday. Thursday was more of the red zone area. And it really was a lot of again, the continuing stuff of the Vikings defense having its moments where it just really outdueled the offense and gave them a tough time. And I'll say this: I think these joint practices, before we get into other stuff from those practices, I think that this is a great week for the Patriots as far as assessment. Week one, you couldn't get much. I mean, you have one practice with Washington. They have a day off, then the game on Friday night. Washington rests 30 guys. You don't see a lot of the starters out there. You don't see a lot of the veterans out there. Washington, a good team, NFC championship team, really a bar for the Patriots as they aspire to get back into respectability, which I expect them to do. But the Vikings offer a great challenge for the Patriots, and I feel like walking away from 2 days of practice, I feel right about how I expected myself to feel, which was again the Vikings defense, one of the toughest, you know, uh, uh, opponents that they're going to face to this point in preseason. It's the toughest week of the preseason where guys against starters get more run time, and you had 2 days to work on stuff instead of one. But you look at this Vikings defense. I mean, I think it's the perfect test for the Patriots right now. Really good. And you look at what they did a year ago under Brian Flores, who both Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels have a lot of experience with going back to his time in New England. They led the NFL in interceptions. They were fourth in sacks. They pressure the quarterback, a lot of exotic looks, very aggressive looks. You get a lot of different things thrown at you that, again, a Patriots offense that you're trying to gauge how much of an issue is that offensive line? Where are your skill position players? I think it kind of looked how I expected it to look, which is the Patriots aren't going to match up against these type of teams and show through without the real glaring issues of the offensive line, and yet also the ability of some of the wide receivers to make plays, which is what you got here the first couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, around this time, you're going to see a lot of the flashy stuff. We saw a lot of the players go ahead and they showed a lot of what was really just um, flashy plays, like the big exciting plays from Stephon Diggs, Efton Chisholm. We saw a lot of that. You're not going to see a social media team being like, "Hey, real quick, let's post this 2 yard run. Let's post that." No, they're going to post the exciting big plays. But I mean, the
That's
more
why
that we
I
see, the
take more
more
from the beat guys who are down there,
yeah, exactly.
because
But the more that you
you know,
see is also a really good thing, because if you see your team and their social media departments posting like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 big plays, again, Minnesota last year, Brian Flores, I think he's a great defensive coach, and we saw the change for the Patriots when it went from Matt Patricia to Brian Flores. It was a complete difference. I thought he got the defense going right. And since he's been jumping around the league, every place he's gone, he's helped the defenses out immensely. And when he was in Miami, what did he do in Miami? He had a really stellar defense. Their offense couldn't get anything going, but defensively, they were always a sound team. And now he's in Minnesota. He's the defensive coordinator. He's calling the shots there. Kevin O'Connell, former quarterback, drafted by the Patriots. I don't think he says too much about the defense. Dare I take Gerard Mayo's saying and say, I think Brian Flores is the head coach of the defense? I think that's really what that situation is. I think he takes that head on. We saw him last year after they had some injuries to the cornerback group. What did they do? They brought in Stephon Gilmore immediately, who's still a free agent, mind you, and might see him go back there. They've had a couple of injuries there again, so I might see him reunite with the Minnesota Vikings. But yeah, again, a guy that is so defensively savvy. I think it's great. He knows how to disguise some of the looks, some of the coverages. It's a great matchup for Drake May. And if like a lot of the plays that we've seen, the big breaks out from Diggs and Chisholm, it's been on 1-on-1s. But there's been some plays though during 7-on-7s or 11-on-11s where we've seen these guys also break these big plays, and those are nice to see. I saw one. It was Travion Henderson. He hit a wheel route, ran right down to the sideline, all the way to the end zone. Again, the kid is going to be a baller.
so
Love
I
to see it. And,
so I
and
yeah, so I no, I agree with all of that. What I will say here is I think an element of this offense that I was more unsure of than I am at this point is the big playability, the chunk plays, the explosive plays, that they just haven't had in this offense in a long time. And I think it's really encouraging seeing where Stephon Diggs is in this whole process, the chemistry that he has with Drake. Again, it seems like he does have that breakaway speed coming off that ACL, that you didn't know what to expect. And
yeah,
I would say that I'm more encouraged by what I've seen from the wide receivers than I expected it to be, which is a big point of emphasis in this offseason that other than Diggs, they didn't really address, with the exception of maybe, I don't know, Kyle Williams, which is yet, to be seen there. But I look at the,
Mac Hollins.
yeah, okay. I mean, Mac Hollins to me is a number four, okay, who I think with his size is going to be in
Well,
included just for
well,
pass protection reasons too, at the line of scrimmage to give that offensive
I'll
line
say
extra
this: when
help.
he
But I'm
when he,
encouraged
he
by,
was with Josh.
yeah, yeah, in Vegas.
Yep, he did have a lot of big plays down there.
He's
I'll
a
say
big
that.
guy. He's a big guy who can high point the
Yeah,
ball.
six
Yeah,
four.
he lifts. If you've seen some of the videos of him lifting, he's a strong built guy. I
Mm-hmm.
will say that Mitchell, I am encouraged by the early reports on from camp of what we've seen from the wide receiver group. Now that is not to say that I think they're a great group. I don't. I think they have limitations. But could they be a little bit better than people expected? I'm starting to feel that way about them. Now maybe it's preseason, maybe it's just again being beat to death with the same clips over and over on social media, which is what we're reacting to at this point because you're not seeing it with your own eyeballs. Maybe, possibly, but I'm encouraged by it. I'm encouraged by what I've seen from the running backs. And Stevenson has not practiced this week. Something popped up in that game Friday night. But Travion Henderson, I think this is a big week for him, and he's continued to show those chunk plays, which is an element that this offense desperately needs. Now, biggest concern continues to loom out there: the offensive line. Please. That is the biggest question. Did they do enough to address the offensive line? And my answer is no. That doesn't mean they're not going to be improved from where they were a year ago. They can't be that bad. They can't be any worse. It's impossible. That offensive line was a joke last year. This year, with Doug Marrone, Will Campbell, who I still think he's a guard, but can he play at least left tackle, bottom third of the league? Yeah, probably. I have questions. I think what you saw against Washington, he's great in the run game. He is definitely a physical player, a hard-nosed kid who loves football, who brings that intensity. But I think the arm length, the width, the hand size, and pass protection, it's been an issue. And that's why this week I think was the biggest for that offensive line. And the reports coming out of it, not so good. 6 sacks in the first practice, 7 sacks in the second practice. Jared Wilson, I think, was swapped out today for Ben Brown. I think that was more of an injury thing. Ben Brown took over at left guard. Not Cole Strange. Again, going back to the draft picks. Not a good look there. Morgan Moses has not been put through a grueling camp. So look across the board. And I'll say that I still think Jared Wilson's the left guard, although now it's very much up in the air. But going back to the first game, Will Campbell, 4th overall pick, would not have been the 4th overall pick if the draft class was better and the Patriots didn't have a desperate need at the position. Jared Wilson, more of a center at Georgia, playing left guard, which he has done in college. They struggled up front in that game in pass protection on the twist that Drake May has a stupid rookie mistake and fumbles the football away, trying to make an already bad play even worse. Garrett Bradbury, released by Minnesota a year ago, was one of the lowest graded centers in pass protection. Michael Wenu, trying to have a resurgence after getting paid a whole lot of money, being out of shape, and also, in his defense, being asked to play a lot of different positions on that offensive line last year instead of right guard, which is where he is supposed to be slotted and should be playing. And Morgan Moses. Again, I like Morgan Moses. 34 years old, veteran guy, tough guy, great locker room guy, and I think buys into everything that this offensive line needs with Dave Andrews being cut and then ultimately retiring and a lot of turnover. I think he's good for the young guys, mentoring, all of that stuff. He is 34 years old. He's a bigger guy, and he's had some injury issues. And then the depth behind these guys is not very good. Vidarian Lowe, Demontre Jacobs. The offensive line is a huge concern. And when you look at what blows up a team and the one thing that can derail an offense completely, it is your offensive line. So the offense is a little bit ahead of where I thought they would be in some aspects. The running backs look better than I expected them to look. The wide receivers are a little bit ahead of where I expected them to look. Drake May is roughly where I expected him to be in year 2 with a capable offensive coordinator and a slight upgrade around him. But that offensive line, that can kill all of that real quick. And Mitchell, I'm not sure that they're going to be really buttoned up for a while. The continuity thing shouldn't be an issue at this point.
Yeah.
And it still seems like there's a lot of learning curves.
Yeah. So one thing I just wanted to point out with Mac Hollins, and then I'll talk about the offensive line.
Yeah.
His best year statistically was with Josh McDaniels with the Las Vegas Raiders. He played 17 games, 57 receptions, 690 receiving yards. He had 4 touchdowns. He had 9 receptions for over 20 yards and 2 receptions for over 40 yards. And his first down percentage was 59.6. and he had 4 touchdowns, and he averaged 12.1 yards a catch. So
So
pretty solid.
Mitchell, and
And he
I'll
had,
I'll ask you this question: as a whole,
yeah,
is the offense ahead of where you expected it to be, behind where you expected it to be, or right where you expected it to be, and why?
the running back group. I wasn't expecting Travion Henderson to be that explosive. You typically, if you're a team that can draft consistently, which the Patriots haven't been, you look at a team like you look at a team really like Cincinnati. I hate to say it, but Cincinnati's really good at drafting. Every time they draft someone in the first or second round, they tend to go ahead and start immediately and produce. Pittsburgh Steelers, another team, they draft, especially if they draft defense, those guys are starting and they produce immediately. And if they draft a wide receiver, they're going to be crazy, but they're going to have 4 to 5 solid years with the Steelers, and then they're leaving, and then their career falls off. So when you look at the Patriots, drafting not their strong suit, but to have a guy like that show up and do something, I think they're ahead in that position. Group Diggs, the ACL. You look at the early 2000s, you tore your ACL, your career was over. You look at the 2010s, you tore your ACL, and it was like you're gonna come back, but it's gonna be in between the ears. Now you tear your ACL, and Diggs did it 8 months ago, 7 months ago, something of the sort, and you would never think that this guy tore his ACL. And I did the research. It was a complete tear. And they say it's better to have a complete tear than a partial tear. That's what they told me when I tore mine. They said it's easier to recover from or something like that. Um, but he had a complete tear as well, and he's come back and he's looked fantastic. So I think the wide receiver group had a lot. I think they're ahead a lot. That position so solidified. The running back group, I didn't think that they were going to be at that spot, but I say they're a little bit ahead. I think they need to figure out who's going to be their fourth guy. And is Ramondre going to be the lead back? He's hurt right now, or is it going to be Travion? Now, the offensive line, I think they're at where I think they are. And the quarterback group, I would say they're at where they think they are, where I think they would be at. I think they're on pace. But to go to your point about the offensive line, if the offensive line is struggling the way that it is, now it is up to Josh and Doug Marone and that offensive staff. You have to come up with creative ways to protect Drake May. So do you put a tight end in there to help Chip, help Will Campbell? Do you fake the handoff and then the fullback chips and he goes into the flats? Those are the things now that you have to take in consideration. And also Mac Hollins, we heard about him before, because of his frame and just how big he is. Do you put him in the slot and then he can help block as well, hit the defensive end, and then you could do that pull with Will Campbell to the outside, and Travion follows him.
So
There's a lot of moving pieces right now, and the offense again with that offensive line. If this is going to be the struggle,
so I,
and like we said,
yeah.
a bad offensive line kills the team. But now it's up to Josh, who's the leader he's the OC, and Vrabel, who I think is more hands on with the
No, he's
defense
been
coach.
working a lot with the offense. He's
Yeah.
been working a lot with Drake May, which I think is encouraging.
Yes.
Um, but let me just say this, Mitchell. Again,
Yep.
I agree. The coaching is a plus this season, where you feel good about what you have on that staff and how they get creative, and again, scheme it up to block it up front, and give your young quarterback some time. It's about talent. So
Agreed.
left tackle is Will Campbell, who was taken fourth overall. In these two joint practices, he's allowed 5 or 6 sacks. I think it was 3 today. It was 2 yesterday. Jared Wilson, who looked like your starting left guard, he left practice today, replaced by Ben Brown. You've had issues up front, all going back for how many seasons now? At the end of the day, like, it is about talent. They can coach up as much as they
Yep.
want, but then it kind of hamstrings them in other areas. You have to bring guys in the block. You have less pass catchers going out, which means you have more people in coverage, which means that guys aren't going to
Yep.
probably get that separation, which now you have to look at that speed for that group and say, okay, there's an extra emphasis on now Stephon Diggs and his speed. On, again, Kyle Williams being able to catch the football and not deal with drops because he offers up speed. Travion Henderson. Well, you want to keep him in to help with pass protection. He's good, but you really want him out in routes. Well, okay, now how do you bring someone else in? Again, this is why I think a lot of this is going to be based off the run. But again, that doesn't work to help you put up points because death by a thousand paper cuts and just running the football and having issues blocking it up front. What will kill drives, especially for a team that has mediocre talent? Plays that go backwards, negative plays. Well, if your offensive line is giving up a sack a drive, okay, or a half a sack a drive, whatever it is, that will end drives immediately. And then it brings in the whole, is Drake May going to continue to make smart plays with the football, which he did not do in preseason game number 1, when on that first drive he goes out there and compounds a bad protection with an even worse turnover for a quarterback who at this point, year 2, should not be looking like a rookie with his decision making in protecting the football when it's been drilled home to him the entire camp. And really going back to last year when he has to look at film, saying these are mistakes I can't make, trying to extend a play. I have to know when the play is dead, and I have to just get down and protect myself. So you talk about the whole franchise. It's Drake May. Okay, it's Drake May going forward. The ceiling is, what is Drake May? If you can't block for him up front, and
Yep.
that's going to be a continual issue throughout the course of the season, well, Mitchell, then you have to look at the expectations for the season. Because I think a
Yeah.
lot of that is based off of, again, the schedule, who they play, sure, the
Yep.
improvements on defense, the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback, and say, well, now we can't block it up for him. This is something that can kill expectations real quick. Also, Andrew Callahan of the Boston Herald said that the defense got shredded today by Minnesota. Shredded. J.J. McCarthy, a second-year quarterback who missed the entire last season due to a torn meniscus. 10th overall pick. No Justin Jefferson out there. And Rondell Moore, a guy that Minnesota was looking to give something in that wide receiving group, is out for the season now. So, Mitchell, again, you're without two guys defensively. Again, this is hard for me to really give you an honest reaction because I'm just going off of what other people are saying because I'm not at practice. You know, they're in Minnesota. I would love to take the trip, but I just can't do it. But I would say coming out of the joints with Minnesota, it kind of puts the Patriots back into their place. You know, all the good vibes and everything like that. Offensive line struggled, offense up and down. Some positives. Drake May did not turn the football all over. Okay, was good with the football. Chunk plays, good. Defense, tough day in the second day. Mixed bag from week number 2 of the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a humbling experience. Like, you don't want this team to go into the season with their chest puffed out like they've done something. You haven't done anything. The only team that really should be doing that is two teams, the Chiefs and the Eagles. Those are the only two teams that if they showed up puffing their chest a little bit, I would say the Chiefs, you guys always find a way to win. And the Eagles, you guys are the defending champs, and you kept most of your roster. So those are the only two teams that really should be showing up. The Patriots, if anyone on the Patriots is showing up, puffing out their chest, you got to have a reason for it. Like if Diggs is like playing against Buffalo, and he was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna let him have it. Then I would go, I respect it, I understand it. He just wants to.
I don't
He
even
wants
think
to
that
get
was a
back at
question.
him.
I don't
But
think the Patriots are going to be puffing out their chest. It's
I
not
mean,
in this team's DNA. They've been losers
yeah.
for a couple of seasons now. Mike Vrabel is not going to let that creep in. Again, the
Mhm.
entitlement, that wasn't a concern of mine at all,
And he,
especially
and he said that in the first
in
press
preseason.
conference. He wants to get rid of egos.
So, I think the encouraging notes here from the joint practices is the explosive plays were there when Drake May had time, and he
Yep.
was money when he had time, and putting the ball on guys and letting them make plays in the open field. You were able to scheme things up in at least the first day where guys were wide open. Credit to Josh. Okay. If Drake May can't do that, then all these points are moot. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah, I
matter.
agree.
So
Yeah, and
again,
and
I want to see what this offensive line looks like on Saturday when they play their first day preseason game, Mitchell, in like 20 or 30 years, something ridiculous. Can you remember in your lifetime the last time the Patriots played a daytime preseason game?
Washington, 2015, 2016.
Okay, you'll have to check that. I don't
That
even
one,
remember. I
no,
don't. I don't remember. You're
and
like you have this like photogenic memory, so I'll take what you say. That's not what I heard today, but again, I'll take your memory over someone else's word.
let me check. Washington,
Chat
2016.
GBT.
Okay, it wasn't 26. One day they played against Washington, and they were the previous name. They weren't the football team. The name and 2017.
No, I don't think it was Mitchell. I mean, I heard
It was
today.
AP. Wait, it was APM. Wow,
Yeah,
no way. No, wait, no, 2017. That's not. It's not Washington. Man, that's great. No, because I remember seeing a game that they played Washington, and it was like in the middle of the day, and I was like, "What the hell is this?"
I
And
don't
I was
remember
like,
it.
"So,
I don't remember it.
um,
And
I'm
listen, you know how much credit I give your
check.
memory,
Yep, I'm
but
checking it out now. I'm gonna find. Now I'm on a hunt. It wasn't 2014. Was it 2014?
I don't know,
No.
Mitch. I don't think anybody really cares at this point. It's been a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, no.
Been a
It's
long time.
preseason. It's preseason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
I'm I'm gonna figure this out though, and then I'm gonna let everyone know. But yeah, I
Well, you
mean,
know what?
again,
We'll let you
it's
know
just
in the next recording. In the next episode, the next show, we'll let you know when the Patriots last played a preseason game during the day. That will bring you back because I know everybody's dying to know that. Dying to know that.
yeah, they
Can't
want to
fall
know
asleep.
100%.
Gonna bother them all night long, all day long,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
till
they
the end of
need.
time.
Mm-hmm. Like, who doesn't want to know about Jimmy Garoppolo?
No,
Because
absolutely.
that's definitely who played.
Mitchell, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
now I'm starting to doubt your word because you were wrong. And
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
20.
think.
It was 8. It was 8 o'clock. Yeah, damn,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
All right. We'll save it, Mitchell. I know it's a juicy
Yeah,
little bit of
yeah,
information,
juicy topic. Yeah,
little bit of history.
no, but yeah, no, I think so back to the previous point. Yeah, for this team going forward, like I said before, the offense is going to have to get really creative. You have to protect Drake May. He is your guy. We saw some good of the footwork, so he's willing to put in the work. We've seen guys go ahead and have problems in college. They get to the NFL, they don't fix their problems. Caleb Williams, and they hold the ball for too long. They think that they can do the same thing that they could in college. We saw Johnny Manziel not watch any film, not do anything of the sort, trying to scramble as if he can outrun those edge rushers who, yeah, they might have played at Texas A&M, or sorry, not Texas A&M, Texas Tech, and then they were the one guy that your offensive line can focus on, Johnny Manziel, so you can run out. But now he's not the best guy on the team. You have to focus on everyone, and now you're going to get your ass kicked. Yeah, Drake May has shown that he's willing to adjust. He's willing to
Oh yeah.
improve upon his game, and that's an encouraging sign. And I think going forward, Josh will appreciate that. He will go ahead and try to find schemes, try to get him more comfortable, get him more acclimated. He's got an arm. He's accurate, but I think it's just about the rest of the offense around him. They need to build up that offensive line. The days of Dante Scarnecchia pulling out someone that you never heard of out of TCU or out of Texas Tech in the 6th and 7th round, it's not going to happen. Getting Dan Connolly, who was a backup from Jacksonville, vouching to Bill Belichick, please get me this guy. And then it turns out years later in 2011, who's your starting center? Dan Connolly, keeping Ryan Wendell, Nick McDonald, and don't forget Nick McDonald's brother, Tim McDonald, on the roster on the practice
Father
squad,
Old
so in case
McDonald.
that they needed that depth.
Yeah.
But keeping those guys on the roster just in case they needed to go ahead and get they needed the depth at the position. Marcus Cannon looked like trash with I forgot what the guy's name when Dante Scarnecchia retired for 2 years. He looked terrible. Dante Scarnecchia comes back. He looks like a Pro Bowler. I mean, it's the we're far removed from those times, and offensive line, sometimes it's just about talent. It's not just about coaching. It's about just getting a guy who's big and strong and having him move some people. I think Will Campbell, I think he's a guy, not a tackle. I think he's a
I would
guy on
agree.
an offensive line. I think he will move people for you. And I think not this year, but next year, we'll see Wilson. He's going to move to center. Bradbury will be cut again. He will be going to his third team. Campbell will move to left guard. The Patriots will be back on the market for another tackle, and Morgan Moses will be there for another year. Marcus Bryant is setting up to take that position. He looked good in the first preseason game. When it was going to be the old man on the roster or on the line, and then they're probably going to at some point replace him with Jack Conley, and he looked really good too. And then they're going to go in the
All
first
right,
round
but I'm
again
more worried
and get
about this
another
year.
tackle.
I don't care about what the offensive line
Yeah,
looks like in the future right now.
but
You know,
I'm
like
just saying, like, again, like we have guys that are great and they do some things really well. I don't think they're in the right spot for this year, but I think that it's about building
no,
character.
so
It's
I
about
disagree.
installing
It's
the
about winning
mentality.
football games now and having a good enough unit now. Drake May on a rookie contract, winning now, urgency. That's what the Vrabel hire was. So no, I don't want to hear about down the
Hmm.
road. No, the future. We can't predict the future. I mean, we can't do it. You don't even know what you're going to have. So no, it's about this season.
We're gonna
Yeah,
have
yeah,
Land
that's great. We'll
Larison.
do a future show. I'm just like, are they winning football games now? Does they have a good offensive line now? I don't even know the 3-year plan. I don't think they even have a plan for tomorrow yet. Like they're still trying to figure all this
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
But again, you want to put the emphasis, elevate guys when you don't have time to do it, and you're also working with mediocre skill players at best. Again, ESPN had them ranked as the 21st roster, 22nd roster in the NFL, which is right where they should be. If you're looking and ranking out different teams based off of what they have, guys, as far as players, starters, on down with depth. It's about where they are. But it's a tough ask for Drake May. And again, there's going to be a lot on his plate this year, which there should be.
mhm.
I just feel like the Patriots
Yep.
have put him in a tough position. All right, Mitchell, I think we can wrap up this episode here, unless you have anything else you want to touch on here.
Buy your Land Larison jersey
Okay.
while they're
Yeah,
cheap.
make sure to make future
I'm gonna
bets.
buy
Mitchell
mine.
tells you the offensive line's going to be good in the future. I know you're all very concerned about that here. Uh,
Well, I'm just that's the guy. I'm telling you,
yeah,
it's gonna
no,
be the
that's
move.
great. We'll do future offensive line talk. That will really spark the discussion. People love
I'm
that.
just saying, even when I'm wrong, I'm right. Big up to all my Land Larison fans. Shout out to UC
Yeah,
Davis
terrific.
College.
All right. All right, that's Sports Untapped. Thank you for watching this video. We'll be back here with more. Make sure to engage with the program, or I would ask you to engage with the program. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, let you know when we pop up with new content. Leave a comment, reaction. We'll interact with you. All right. Thanks for watching. Sports Untapped. We'll be back with another episode later on.